Alrighty, how's everybody doing today? My name is Tanner, and I'm going to be doing a little bit of a review on basically how to clean and service an Athearn blue box. This is an older blue box. There's a box here. Ta-da! Originally purchased from the St. Cloud Hobby Shop when that was a thing. That no longer exists. I found it at a garage sale after stopping off at a pawn shop that had literally the exact same thing a day ahead of time, along with, well, can't see that anyway. But I don't know how they wound up there like a day apart, but I managed to buy them for extremely cheaper than the pawn shop had them, so I'm pretty happy about that. But let's get into this. Now, basically, what we're gonna need, I have a couple of tools, other than, of course, the cleaning track, which isn't really anything special. It's just a couple chunks of regular old easy track, and our lovely subject. Not going to use that for a while. Now, our tools, HL654 Hob E Lube Light Oil by Woodland Scenics. I don't know if you can see that. It's pretty weird lighting. I'm using my laptop webcam here. We got Tidy Track Clean Track Solution TT4554 by Woodland Scenics. Excellent stuff. Works on tracks and the bottom of wheels, which we'll be getting to in a bit. Also a medium flathead screwdriver. Craftsman's awesome. We also have a pick tool that originally came from a I think they're called nifty knitters, little things that it's like a weird loom that you just keep going around and around, and eventually it makes, I don't know, socks and hats and stuff, which is pretty neat on its own. But I've since repurposed a pick to fit my needs. Also, we have I've found that the easiest thing to use is going to be toilet paper squares, because it's relatively cheap and does basically the same thing as regular paper towels, except it's smaller. You don't have to do anything with it. This is an older locomotive, so it's going to have the plastic snaps underneath instead of the metal under snap plates, which I'll exemplify here. Woo! Everything everywhere. Let's just keep two of those out, but the older ones look kind of like this. Or, well, I guess the new one, I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell what's going to be on, so I mean, you can pick these up at any hobby shop for super cheap, because they don't make these kind of things anymore. Anyway, we're going to keep those out, and you'll notice that the couplers are kind of floppy in there, so we're going to replace the old spring-loaded draft box springs with two brand new ones out of Katie No. 5 kits that I somehow didn't need to use, so we got a bunch of those. Oh, come on. There we go. So we have two of those off to the side. That's basically it. If we need something along the way, I'll get it. I have my toolbox right here. So let's dig in. There's usually going to be like either a set or two sets, one on each side, of a little bump and then a little like round clasp thing that goes around it on each side. So what you're going to do is pry up on those, up and out, so it goes, you can kind of see it here, goes on the outside, like this one is, compared to the one that's still on the inside here. So on this side, I'm going to go under and pop off. Okay. That basically just comes right off. On the inside, it doesn't look like this one has any lighting. Some of them do, some of them don't. And you can definitely add lighting later, very easy to do with LEDs. Now, you can see this one has some slight rust on the flywheels. These big metal things are called flywheels or cans. And it does look like it's sustained a little bit of rust, but it's not going to be too much of a problem. Everything looks intact, which is fantastic. I don't know if this runs right off the bat, so I'm going to clean it and then test it. So yeah, first thing we're going to do is unsnap the couplers so they're out of the way, because they can be a bitch and they just snap off by themselves. So it does look like they're just standard KD number 5s. So put those off to the side because the couplers are still good, it's just the springs that are bad. Off to the side. Alrighty, so you can see here, before we go any farther, if there was going to be a light in it, this is the front, the light would go inside this bracket here. Also, I've seen other blue box, specifically the F series, so like F7s and F9s, where they have the light up on the mount. There's like a weird spring thing that goes under here over to here. It basically replaces this wire right here, and that just has the light on that. So kind of strange, but it works. So I'll probably install lights on this later after we get that going. So the fact that there's solder here makes this kind of a bitch. Excuse my language. So I might have to unsolder that at some point in time. Yeah. So what you want to do first off is make sure there aren't any obstructions. You can do that by slightly jiggling it back and forth to make sure that the gears inside the trucks, which you can, let's see if I can get this in there. Oh, it's going to be terrible lighting. Hey, that works. Right in here, there's going to be a series of gears that drives, it makes the can, the whole like flywheel assembly and drive shaft, transfers that into these. So it's kind of complex, and if you're a beginner modeler, I wouldn't delve into that too deeply. You can do basic maintenance and lubrication just from the outside without having to take the trucks off. It can be kind of a bitch if you don't know what you're doing. I would not recommend it to newer modelers. Try and experiment. Take shells off of like Tyco and Mahano and stuff. Take those shell off. Experiment with those. Get used to doing it, and when you feel more adventurous, then start. So what we're gonna do is, what I like about this, it has this L-shaped hook, and basically there's like a cover for the very end of the gearbox that holds everything together, and also holds it onto the frame. I'm gonna just pop that right off. Sometimes it can be stubborn. There we go. That's going to have a screw in it, a transfer screw, and two very Well, I mean, everything's important, but these are extremely important. 2 square, like, washer things that hold everything together. Do not lose those. You can't use this thing without it. So, okay, so it has become evident that we will need to desolder things before we can continue. So we're going to put everything back together. Find my solder iron. There you are. It's kind of old. Oh well. Aha. There we go. Let that warm up a bit. So, fun. Well, while that's doing that, we can talk about the underside. Basically, all or most blue box Athearn pieces of equipment have the same kind of weird underframe. You can smell it starting to heat up. It's going to have 4 dots, or 8 dots if it's dual motored, which some can. I have a DD-35X that has dual can motors. So it has basically 2 motor sets, one for each drive truck. It's a hell of a puller, and it gets the job done. But you'll see these 4 little dots are actually what hold the motor to the inside. I don't know if you can see them that well. We'll get there in a little bit. You can probably see them better when we're there. And then of course there's those. You can see the wheels. Maybe you can see the wheels. I don't know the quality. There's the pickup for the motor, which is right there, which we'll get to cleaning in a bit. Then, excuse me. You can kind of see it in here where it's still got a little bit of the old lubrication. That's good. It means it was well cared for. But we're going to put some new stuff on it. Yeah. Are you good to go yet? Okay, and you can always, if you don't you're unsatisfied with the quality of the current wiring, you can always replace it with a newer wire. Just make sure that it's a supple wire and not something that'll just like bend, snap right away. That's not good. Okay, heat. Smells like waffles for some reason. Might not quite be there yet. Okay. Yep. Guys should check out my other videos. I'm not gonna say like, hey, rate, subscribe, and share or whatever, because that's lame and I don't expect it. But have a couple on weathering so far that are pretty interesting, I guess. Come on, no dork. Here we go. Bink. There's the main wire. And there's that. And there's that. So we're going to set that off to the side. I may replace these later with something a little bit more high grade than just a chunk of simple wire. Okay, now that we got those off, we're going to try and get in there and pop this off one more time, see if we can lose any important parts. That's always a crucial part of cleaning any locomotive, is losing exactly what you need. So this will pull out. And you can see the drive linkage in here is knuckled there. And moves there for optimum articulation. I love that word. So we're going to set that off to the side, making sure not to lose anything. This is your truck. It's now basically free to move because it's not connected to the actual drive. It looks fairly okay, but we're going to make sure everything gets what it needs to get. So in here, you can see the gears are going. Not very well. Oh, there we go. I think I see 1, 2, 3 main gears, and then of course the gears on the axles of the wheels. So in each one of these trucks, set that over there, there's going to be a plate on the bottom that clips on very, very similarly to the little coupler clips. Basically, take a pick or a very thin screwdriver and get it all up in its business. You can come from underneath on the other side of the truck and go underneath and push out. There we go. There's one side. And I think I just snapped it back. Fantastic. Yep. Alright, push. Hey, there we go. Oh, are you kidding me? Oh, there we go. Okay, fantastic. So there's one side, or one end. There's the other, and we are off. So now you can see everything going in there. And these aren't going to fall out unless you completely disassemble the truck, which you can do, and I wholly unrecommend unless you are, like I said, an advanced modeler, because it can be a bitch to get them back together. So looks like there's a little bit of fuzz in there, which is to be expected in used equipment. Basically just pick it up. You can use a smaller tweezers, which I suppose I should have grabbed first, and just head in there and just pick that fuzz out. Ugh. Gross. Okay. Pick, pick, pick. I'm not going to go disassembling stuff right now. I don't feel it's necessary for this. I have had to do it in the past. I had a VO1000 blue box that I got from the same place, from the pawn shop. Same place these were. I got these, and yeah, and it was absolutely filthy inside. disgusting. I cleaned her up and she was good to go. Well, you know, I think I will go in depth because I want to clean these wheels up. Okay, so there's going to be another plastic clip on the top here, just like the bottom one. And literally these are in 2 pieces. And you just kind of pull it apart. Wrong end. See? And from that, the truck will fall right out. Or the wheel set will fall right out. Okay, so get a little bit more fuzz off there. That's your Athearn wheel set. Now we get to use, track cleaning solution, which works handy dandy for the same thing that touches the track as the wheel. So I like to fold and fold, squirt, and basically just take your fingernail and go around, scrubby scrubby. Oh, look at that. Terrible. Just gonna kind of dig into your finger a little bit. So get ready for the pain. It's very important to do this with your equipment. It won't pick up electricity, right? It could spark. It's just bad for it. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. Yeah. So you won't be able to tell on here which side. I just finished this side. Might be a little bit shinier. I don't know. So I'll get another cube, a square, dampen it with the solution. Remember what side you just cleaned. Say, oh yeah, and give her a go. Wait, no. Yeah, okay. Whoops. And you should do this for rolling, like rolling stock too, with metal wheels. It just makes things go smoother. The clickety-clack is nicer and it looks better. Unless you're one of those awesome people like me that weathers your wheels, then would not recommend. And go around on the inside. Make sure to go around on the inside so everything's nice and shiny for that axle. There we go. It might fall apart a little bit on you. That is okay. So now we have a nice shiny wheel set, and that will basically put into one side, put into the other side, and you are good to go for that. So you need to pop off that little cover. See if I can lose it, because you gotta lose something here. I'm doing too well. I haven't lost anything. Okay. There's one side, there's the other side. Fantastic. And you want to kind of push everything back together. Make sure the clips are together. And scrubby scrubby. Ugh, gross. Okay, so there's that side, and if you have enough left over on that space, you can continue on to use that same pad. You don't have to get a new one. More economical, saves on solution and toilet paper. Haha. Oh, that was gross. Oh. Wheels will get buildup from static electricity and just general grime. It prevents the contact from being made to the track, which is its power supply. So now we got that all back together. Slip it in one side, slip it in the other, and everything is back to normal. We're going to put that top cap back on. Alrighty, now it's lubricated. This stuff comes with like a little straw thing that you can get to be like super accurate, but I've literally never used it ever. A nice liberal coating. Make sure not to get on the wheels. I have to clean them again. You can, if you want to, go on the very outside. I just realized it's probably really hard for you guys to see what I'm doing when I'm so far away. I apologize. It should be basically silent running now. Which it is. Which I love that sound of nothingness. And then I just clip that back on. And you're frosty. And get that back in there. There we go. Make sure everything lines up there. You can put a coat of lubricant on that. Get the hair out of there. Lubricant on there. I'm going to put a little on that joint. Still got some residual from the very first. A little more on there. And snap that back to... Oh. Come on. There we go. Snap that back together and we are rocking. So we have basically one truck down. Let's see. Let's do this other truck. So I'm going to kind of speed run through this a little bit closer to the camera now that I realize that you guys probably didn't see feckin' anything. Get that out of there. Scoot these over here. Athearn's one of my favorite brands, like ever. So I speak highly of them. You should do this with all models, not just Athearn's. You can look up maintenance kits and guides on other sites. I know I've seen them for like let's just blank on all manufacturers of models. Tanner, that's a good idea. But I mean, I know you can find them, and you can find like aftermarket instructional videos and stuff like what I'm doing now. But I mean brand specific stuff. like Athearn, what I'm doing now. This is kind of being a bitch. Let's see. Oh, there we go. Fantastic. So, got all that going. And we are going to get side A done first, which is that side. So I'm just going to speed run through this. There is no point in me doing this, telling you again. Sorry for the long video, it's kind of a long process, and I'm explaining things at the same time, so yep. Okay, there's that. That's used up. For cleaning track, you can use that and basically, paper towel. I prefer the track eraser myself. A lot of people are like, oh, you can do it with like isopropyl alcohol. I don't like using that. It seems like it's relatively flammable, and I know it's supposed to like dry off after a while and just go away and evaporate, but I'd rather not have that risk, if you know what I mean. Okay, it's looking golden. Okay. Slap that back in there, make sure everything works. Fantastic. And then I get in there, pop that cap off. Try not to lose anything. Shove everything back together. Da, 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 da. So how are you guys doing today? I can't actually hear you, but that's okay. Whoa, that's grody. Good thing we did this. Made the video a little bit longer, but that's alright. Need to have it done. Whew. Nasty. Alrighty, everything looks good. that back together. Put that top cap back on. Oil, oil, oil. And oil, 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 oil. You definitely want to oil your rolling stock. For a long time, I had a couple of old Athearn blue box Santa Fe coaches, and I could never remember to oil them. They always squeaked, and it was kind of weird. And one day I was like, oh, I better just sit down and do that. And in the mind, it was worth it. Okay. Now let's hope this oil isn't too flammable, because we have to solder shit back together. Put a cap on that. Yep. Okay, everything looks good. Reinsert that. Make sure it lines up on the axle. Or the pinion, I suppose. Make sure those little brass nuts get back. Oh, come on. Sometimes it can be a bit of a headache. There we go. And oil, oil, oil. And flip. And we're good. Okay, so now that we have the trucks reassembled, everything's looking frosty. One of the last things we need to do is clean the contacts. Now right in here, you're going to see a little brass, set of brass contacts. They pick up electricity from the locomotive to power the motor to make it go round and round. I'm not an electric motor mechanic. That's my uncle. So I'm not entirely sure how that works. I suppose I should. I'm probably making a fool of myself right now for telling you. But we still need to clean it. So take one of our handy dandy pads, fold it, fold it, fold it kind of thin into a strip. What I like to do is take the screwdriver and fold it around the tip. Make sure everything's kind of bunched up, and stick it right onto it and spin the cans around. The flywheels, whatever you want to call them. Everybody calls them something different. And look at that growth. That's nasty. Okay. Now you may get little chunks of paper towel or TP or whatever you use stuck into that, and you can just clean that out with a tweezers, handy dandy tweezers. There we go. Fantastic. So everything is looking good. Motor's a little rocky. It's supposed to be. Alrighty, fantastic. Everything's looking great. So we are going to get to the very end. I know you're like probably like, oh, thank you, this 40-minute long, holy cow. That went way over what I wanted it to. Oh well. So you're gonna put your coupler for these things. You're gonna put your coupler. KD number 5s are almost universally accepted as Athearn Blue Box compatible, which are fantastic. Because they're relatively abundant and universal for a bunch of other stuff. So we're going to put the new spring in there. Hold that down. And clip. Fantastic. Let's get that other side. Oh, I almost forgot we have to solder things, so we'll get to that in a bit. Oh, yeah, these old springs are looking super bent. Oh well, lucky I had some on hand. Okay. Might want to go in from the other side, I guess. Okay. There's that. There's that. Always make sure everything's golden before you try and put it on. Oh, I assembled that entirely backwards. Which is something you don't want to do, because then it just won't work. Oh well. Okay, reassembled. Whoa-ho, alrighty. And we have lost the spring from the KD, or KD. Just gently spring it back into there. And we are good to go again. I've seen so many KD springs lost over the years, and everybody gets frustrated doing it. I don't know why I'm so good at putting them back together, but I usually get it on the first try. Which is lucky for me, I guess. Okay, this thing is not agreeing with me for some reason. Might be just a little bit too, oh, there we go. Okay. What the heck is wrong with this thing? Maybe I wasn't installing it backwards after all. Huh. Okay, well, That was weird. There we go. Okay. Fantastic. So, resoldering. That's still hot. Hot, hot, hot. And so we're going to get that center solder done first so we can manipulate the wire to fit the other trucks. Like I said, I'm sorry for having this run over so long. I didn't expect it to be a 45-minute video. There we go. So there's that. Wire was turning toasty hot, which kind of sucked, but oh well. So, I'm going to manipulate that. There's that. And the last one, which is real easy to do. Fantastic. Unplug your solder iron so you don't scald yourself, burn yourself, scorch yourself, because that sucks. Okay, put that away. And remember, the light thing is in front. And I'll probably be installing lights on this later. Make sure everything is good to go on the Windows department, and should be able to, in theory. That's the holdup, fellas. Just clip it on. Make sure both sides are good. And should be good to go. Sorry it took 48 minutes and 20 seconds right now, but I hope it was informative, and have a fantastic day.